Good morning. If you happen to hear some bumps in this video, there is a man on top of the roof. I did check. It's not Santa Claus, unfortunately, even though it's cold enough this morning for Santa Claus to be here in Alabama at least. We have some men fixing some shingles that have blown off with the recent storms. So if you hear any bumps, that's what's going on. But this morning's devotional comes from Psalm 107. Yesterday, I preached on cultivating thanksgiving in the midst of all of this. And what the Lord was teaching us through this. And Psalm 107 kind of follows that trajectory. It starts off by saying, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever." And then it says, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from trouble, and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south." So it's a call for all of God's people to give thanks to him. And then it talks about why they should do that. It gives a couple of different examples of life situations of believers and how they can give thanks. So verse 4 says, "Some wandered in desert wastes, finding no city to dwell in. Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted within them. They cried to the Lord, and in their trouble he delivered them from their distress. He led them by a straight way until they reached a city to dwell in. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. For he satisfies the longing soul, and the hungry soul he fills with good things." And there's several stanzas that follow this pattern. What happened in their life, what the Lord did, why they should give thanks, and then a final just two-couplet stanza that says what the Lord does for his people. So let me read one more. It says, "Some sat in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in affliction and in irons, for they had rebelled against the words of God and spurned the counsel of the Most High. So he bowed their hearts down with hard labor, and they fell down with none to help. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death, and burst their bonds apart. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. For he shatters the doors of bronze and cuts into the bars of iron." And then he says, "Some went down to the sea in ships, doing great business on the waters. They saw the deeds of the Lord, his wondrous works in the deep. For he commanded and raised the stormy wind, which lifted up the waves of the sea. They mounted up to heaven, they went down to the depths, and their courage melted away in their evil plight. They reeled and staggered." You can see men on the ship reeling and staggered like drunken men who were at their wits' end. So what did? They cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He made the storm be still, the waves of the seas were hushed, and then they were glad that the waters were quiet, and he brought them to their desired haven. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. Let them extol him in the congregation of the people, and praise him in the assembly of the elders." The Lord has us in this situation right now. So we should do as these people did in Psalm 107. We should seek the Lord and ask him to deliver us from our trouble. And when he does, we should give thanks to him. We should mark it down. So maybe you should be cultivating a diary, journal entries about what's going on during this crisis, so that in years future, if the Lord is gracious to you and allows you to live, you can look back on this time and not just say, "Yeah, we watched Netflix a whole bunch for a few days while we waited this thing out." But we sought the Lord, and he answered us in these ways. And these were the things that he taught us as we endured this. And then maybe you should share that with others. So I hope you have a good day. Praying for you. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.